Her name is Nosipo Siko. Amandla Gatiko is the name of the song on Radio K Pulpit, 7 to 9 a.m. And yeah, we got more like that. Amandla Gatiko. What else do you need? What more can you ask for? It's a beautiful song. It's a truly, truly beautiful song with a powerful message. My name is Pastor G, and this is Indibana Yamakola, The Encounter. Happens every Wednesday between 7 and 9 p.m. But yeah, on and forward to the business of the day. I did say we'll be having Mrs. Patricia Matabela, who is coming on to the show to speak to us about workplace issues. What to do, what not to do when you have a job. It's difficult enough to get a job. Now, when you have the job, you have to behave in a certain way. Know certain things and do certain things in that space. So we welcome Mrs. Patricia Matabela to the show. Ma'am, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Pastor G. What a pleasure to be at the encounter again tonight.
It's always an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show, and you leave us empowered every time you come onto the show. So we're looking forward to more empowerment today. Some of us, I'd confess, I'm one of those people now. I can participate in discussions about HR. People start talking about HR matters. I'm like, in fact, I can now say one or two things because you teach us so well when it comes to matters of HR on the show. So I'm just gonna let you go back before you go forward, like we always do. Remind us of last week and then take us to this week. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you again, Pastor G. We've been talking a lot about keeping records. We said there is so much importance. We've put so much emphasis on keeping employee records, and we spoke about keeping training records as well. And we said it is important for the business to keep records of the skills, the training, and the qualifications of their employees because it helps in the future. There is so much return on investment in doing that. But I don't want to dwell much into that. That was last week's topic. This week, we are talking about the importance of the HR function in a business. Why is HR important? Why should I get an HR person to assist me? Whether you want to hire an HR person to come and work full time or you want to outsource the services. But the question remains, why is it important for a business to have an HR person? And we're just going to focus on 5 things tonight. There's a whole lot of reasons why we need an HR expert in a business. Pastor G, I just want you to imagine a situation where in a business you have a person that is both bottom line focused and employee focused.
Right?
Just think about that. Because if you look at the employer, most of the time he is bottom line focused. And there's nothing wrong with being bottom line focused. That's the existence of the business. But every business exists because of the employees that make it tick. If we just go into a building and there's nobody working there, then who is serving the client? It has to be the employees. So, human resources, I'm just now bringing my introduction to say human resources is that function that has their eye on the bottom line and also a focus on the employee. And they bring that together to make the business move forward. So, one of the reasons, one of the importance of having the HR function and HR experts is they develop, they implement, and they monitor HR strategies and policies to meet business needs. Imagine if you're a business person, you know nothing about human resources, and you must crack your head about coming up with strategies, coming up with let's say, retention strategies. You don't even know maybe what that is. But if you hire an expert, an HR expert, then you allow them to do the thinking and the implementation, and you just get the report. What policy do we need? What have we done to develop the policy? How do we communicate the policy? And how do we check that the policy is helping us at the end? That is the role of an HR expert. So to business owners out there, if you ever thought, should I not get an HR expert? You need an HR expert. It gives you peace of mind. And the second part is HR experts keep track of current HR trends in the industry. Pastor G, as experts, we are a part of a bigger community. We are part of a bigger HR community where we discuss challenges and solutions in line with developing trends, in line with changing legislation. So it is important for a business to just either outsource or hire an HR expert who's going to keep their eye on that. Because one of the biggest assets of an organization is the employees. So they need someone who's going to just keep an eye on what is going on now, what has changed. And it reminds me of when the Poppy Act came, even when COVID came, they came almost at the same time. Somebody needed to know, okay, what do we do now? How is it done? Who do we call? The HR expert was there, and we assisted to make sure that COVID was managed well, and also the Poppy Act was managed well. So the business managers had to just go on with running the business, and we then shielded the business from the risk associated with change. Basically, new things that come about, the HR experts are equipped to deal with that change. Not only trends, but change management in general. If a business is changing, for example, if two businesses are merging, if we are merging two businesses, how would you go about it? What do we do with the employees of the other business? Because now we have two businesses coming together. HR experts come in and they ensure a smooth transition between the old and the new processes. So we need HR experts. The other thing is HR experts offer insight regarding employee behavior. Pastor G, if there's one thing that is complicated in this world, is a human being. They've got thoughts, wishes, desires, backgrounds, history, qualification, attitude, opinions, you name it. They've got so much. A human being is a very complicated entity. So HR experts have been taught a few things about what makes a person tick, how to manage conflict, those type of things. So if you are a mere man and you've got your eye on your business, and on the other hand you have to deal with people's perceptions, conflict in the workplace, I think you will end up getting tired of people, because really, if you are not called to managing people, it can be a very cumbersome activity. So HR experts have been trained and they know how to deal with human behavior. A simple thing as conflict. If you bring conflict in the workplace, you may find that other people don't know how to deal with the conflict, especially if your eye is on the bottom line. That's my emphasis today. If you are a business owner, you're an employer, your focus, you are already biased before you approach a matter. All you want to know is, how am I going to make money? But you forget that there are people that are working for you that have emotions, they have families, they have needs, they have all sorts of things that make them tick. So it's better to just take that very complicated part of your business and hand it over to a capable somebody, and that is the HR expert. We are trained in dealing with conflict. Some of these things can be difficult for an untrained person like you, Pastor G, but if you bring it to us, we know how to deal with it. Okay, so looking at my time, I'm gonna just move on a little bit. HR experts also serve as the middleman between the employer and the employees. Like I said, the employer's focus mostly is on making money. I've invested so much in this business. How do I get my returns? And to a certain extent, you may find that emotions tend to cloud their judgment. The background, if you look at a business that has come through a lot of challenges, and then an employee comes and they want to risk all of that investment that has been put over a period of 10, 20, 30 or more years, you may find that the employer may act in impulse, they may act out of impulse, and as a result, not be in line, not act in line with legislation because they're acting out of emotion. However, if you've got an HR expert, you just take the case and say, hey, Mewaka, please assist. This is my case. Look at it and come and give us feedback. What is the best solution and what are the possible results out of that solution? We do the work, we investigate, we have conversations, we write reports, and we come to you with a full picture of where it comes from, what can be done, what are the options, and what are the possible outcomes. And while we are doing that, you are continuing, on the other hand, managing the business, making money for the business to ensure that the business is running. So there is so much joy, there is so much comfort in having an HR person. It's like having another wing of management in your company. The beautiful thing about that wing is they've got your best interest at heart, but they also have the best interest and the know-how of employees in your business. That is the story for today, Pastor G. I'm sure you've got so many questions.
I do actually. When you are talking about the importance of HR, to me, it just brings humans as a resource. If a business person was to look at the human beings that are there in their employ as a resource rather than just people that they must pay a salary to at the end of the month, I think that's how HR should be approached. Would you agree with such a statement?
I agree with your statement 100%. And that's why HR simply means human resources. So we talk about human resources management,
Yeah.
how to manage humans as a resource of a business.
All right. So now here's a question. Is it expensive to firstly maybe to have an HR consultancy attached to your business? Is it going to bring a humongous cost to your business? Wouldn't you rather hire an HR practitioner in the business? Which route would you recommend for a business?
Pastor G, businesses are different and they've got different needs
Yeah.
and they come from different industries as well. So smaller businesses, it would be easier for them because their HR needs are not so much, they don't have a lot of day-to-day needs. You can outsource the service and just get an HR person as and when the need arises. If
Yeah.
you are establishing the business, then you get the HR business just to the HR expert to set you up and to stay on call, to stay on standby
Yeah.
for as and when you need them. Then you don't have to pay them monthly. You'll just pay a fee
Oh.
as you call on them. But for bigger businesses, if you employ 20 people, 15 people,
Mm.
that's a lot. You've got issues daily and you need somebody who's going to run that on the daily. Obviously, depending on industries, lately the trend is that HR consultancy is outsourced.
Yeah. All right. Um,
Yes.
now,
Yeah.
thank you for that answer. Now, when an HR consultancy is contracted to a company, and the expectation is it to for them to represent the company in issues of dispute. Because you said that you are looking out for my bottom line and also looking at the best interest of the employees as well. But now, in terms of conflict, when the employer and the employee are at loggerheads, where does the HR function fall now?
That's a beautiful question, Pastor G. The HR expert sits right in the middle
Mm.
and say, what does legislation say about this issue?
Ah, okay.
Yeah, then we look at legislation. Legislation does not do with emotions. It deals with, it's the book. What does the paper say?
So I
And
just
then the HR person, sorry,
continue,
Pastor
continue,
G.
continue.
I
The
was
HR
saying the
person.
HR person has been equipped to interpret legislation to the employer to say, yes, you can discipline, but this is how you discipline. There's nothing
Mm.
wrong with discipline. There's just a method to it.
Yeah, so I just can't say I can't say you're fired just cause I am angry at that time. I'm boiling with anger, and I come out and say you're fired. What does legislation say? So that's what the HR expert will help me with.
Yes, that statement only works in the movies, Pastor G. In South Africa, we have legislation. There's a starting point and an end point.
Yeah. And you are equipped to manage that relationship from where the relationship between the employer and the employee starts all the way until where it ends, however way it ends, whether it's by resignation or by termination or whichever way that relationship is ended, you are equipped as HR experts to manage that.
Definitely, Pastor G. Once again, you sound like you've read our notes. You sound like you've worked for us for a bit there.
Tell me about Mewaka Investments, Mewaka HR and Finance. What am I saying? Tell me about it. Where do we find you? How do we and please do also tell us about some of the services that we can get from Mewaka.
Thank you for that, Pastor G. Mewaka, what we do is offer expert human resources consulting and also finance. We start with a business from zero. You can get your business registered, get your business compliant, tax, CK, BEE, and many other compliances depending on the industry you are operating in. And also ensure that employees are recruited according to legislation, trained, maintained, disciplined, training. There's just a whole lot that we do. It's the HR basket in full. If you talk of CCMA cases, we do that. Labor disputes, we do that. Keeping of employee records, a whole lot of HR offering. That is what Mewaka does. And you can email us at info@mewaka.co.za or contact 083 589 2216 083 589 2216.
Ma'am, thank you very much for coming through, and we look forward to having you again on the show next week. May God bless you.
Thank you again, Pastor G. God bless.
Right, there you have it. Yeah, the HR, humans as a resource, human resources. We'll be talking to Mrs. Matabela. Did I just call her Miss? Mrs. Matabela next week on the show again, discussing matters, all matters HR. If you've got any questions, any matters HR, please do send them to us. We will gladly share them with her, or any questions, any unique questions that maybe in your workplace you come across, please make sure that you get in touch with us, and then, or an HR topic that you think we can talk about, please do send them to us. We look forward to discussing those as she comes onto the show again tomorrow. Here's some music now, Tumelo, as we see out Mrs. Matabela.